Hi everyone, and welcome to ODTUG's online education series. Today's presentation is Essbase On-prem to Oracle Analytics Cloud, How, When, and Why, presented by Kurt Mayer of Datavale. Today's presentation will be recorded and available for viewing on the ODTUG website. Please go ahead and put your questions into the questions box at any time during the presentation. They will be addressed during the Q&A period at the end of the webinar. A special announcement for today's webinar, Datavale is inviting all attendees to take part in a survey, and by doing so, you will be entered into a drawing to win a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones. Kurt will have the link on the screen where you can enter this survey at some point in the webinar. So welcome, Kurt, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. You might have noticed the title, Essbase On-prem to Oracle Analytics Cloud. And I changed the title. Why? Because Oracle. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But first, there's one thought I want you to have all throughout this session, and that's that you made the right choice when you selected and implemented Essbase. So let's leverage that decision for the future. I am Kurt Mayer. I've got about 30 years experience in reporting, BI, and analytics. I've held various positions in a wide range of industries: retail, oil and gas, pharmaceutical manufacturing, even gold mining and making beer. I design and deliver data integration and modeling solutions with expertise in Hyperion, EPM, Essbase planning, and OBIE projects. And the rare moments of downtime I enjoy wind therapy, riding my Harley around Southeast Texas. A little bit about Datavale real quick. We are data and analytics specialists with over 15 years delivering data services. We have over 500 customers, and we have managed services, projects, and staffing. The application management that we specialize and are expert in are Essbase, EPM 11.2, and Cloud, Oracle Analytics, both OAS and OAC. We have intellectual property. Celotis APM software is our software to manage your Hyperion, EPM, Cloud, and Essbase systems. We specialize in database management, and we have custom application development as well. As Karen mentioned, you do want to fill out the evaluation form. I'll leave this up for a second so you can copy that link down at the bottom. It's very simple, https://info.datavale.com/Bose, and you'll enter yourself into winning a chance to wear a pair of really cool noise canceling headphones. I'll bring the slide back up at the end. So you all probably have Essbase in some form, maybe on-prem, standalone 11G, or maybe 12C as part of BI Foundation Suite, or perhaps you're in the cloud already with OAC Essbase, or maybe you have OAC or you just haven't instantiated an Essbase instance yet. Or you're a planning user, or PBCS or eBPCS, so you're already using Essbase as part of that, and maybe a few of you are wondering just what the heck is this Essbase thing. All across that, you're in good company. There's a very good reason that Essbase is one of the most popular software applications for finance departments. More than 10,000 companies are using Essbase to gain valuable insights, including many Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. Essbase was first branded as an Oracle product after Oracle's acquisition of Hyperion in 2007. But Oracle Essbase's history goes all the way back to pre-Hyperion days with the company that created it in 1992, Arbor Software. That means that the most loyal Essbase customers have been using the software for more than 2 decades. It's a key strategic product for Oracle. You'll find it under the covers behind many Oracle products. It's fast, it's shared, it's secure, it's scalable. So a brief history on Essbase. It's got great history for fantastic technology, all the way from groundbreaking beginnings in 1992 as a product with Arbor Software, and it embodied the principles of online analytical processing set out by E.F. Codd. When Arbor merged with Hyperion Software in 1998, or IBM also started a rebrand of Essbase known as DB2 OLAP Server that was saw some release until 2005. In 2005, we saw the introduction of ASO technology with version 7, and also in 2005, Essbase was named as one of the top 10 influential technological innovations. It's a pretty good company there, sharing that honor with innovations like Netscape, BlackBerry, Google, virtualization, voice over IP, Linux, XML, the Pentium processor, and ADSL. By the time Oracle acquired Hyperion, Essbase had become known as the multidimensional database technology that put online analytical processing on the business intelligence map. It spurred the creation of scores of rival OLAP products and billions of OLAP cubes. So we've seen plenty of confusion around name changes too over that time period. Everything from Essbase to Essbase XTD before Oracle acquired the product. Then Hyperion tried to give Essbase an official name of, ready for this, Hyperion System 9 BI Plus Analytics Services. We pretty much largely ignored that, and finally Oracle just settled in on Oracle Essbase. The Oracle years brought us a lot of changes too over those next 10 years. We saw 11G come out with Essbase Studio, LCM, XOLAP, Exalytics optimizations. We saw Essbase bundled with OBIE as part of the BI Foundation suite, and then Fusion picks up Essbase, adding Essbase into its Oracle Fusion General Ledger, and we see OBIE 12c come out with an embedded Essbase 12c, so we have a new version. Bix comes out as a BI cloud service that Oracle introduces. Bix becomes OAC and adds the missing Essbase cloud offering. And all of a sudden, Essbase is in and part of everything. And now, Essbase 19c. So all throughout that time, Essbase continued to improve and increase in functionality, but at its core, its features and benefits have largely remained the same. It's still more than just Excel on steroids. Rapid batch loads and fast calculation times, sub-second retrievals of data, providing analysis at the speed of thought. It performs detailed analysis of petabytes of data with billions of cells in a multidimensional model, which means that your large user community has access to massive data sets, allowing you to leverage investments in legacy systems and build standardized reports for business partners and decision makers. Robust security is included across all of this, with controlling access down to a single piece of information if necessary. So let's talk about the cloud, because this is here. It's here to stay. This is how you would leverage your Essbase system, and your investment in that. So the public cloud providers are exploding in the PaaS space. 94% of companies now use cloud computing in some form or fashion, with organizations using almost 5 clouds on average. Serverless is the top growing extended cloud service, with 50% growth over last year, and companies are increasing spend by 24% this year. Gartner says that by 2020, 36% of enterprises will use the cloud to support more than half their transactional systems of record. So I went to Kscope this year, June. Oracle just turned the world of analytics upside down again. There's some pretty big revelations there. So what was the earth-shattering thing that was revealed? After a long battle of a 10-year identity crisis, we learned that Essbase will not be part of Oracle Analytics going forward, and instead it will be known as a database again. So the next version of Essbase will be called Essbase 19c, and while it's always been a database, it's nice to see that Oracle is going to acknowledge it as one and allow it to be standalone. That next Essbase version of 19c, by the way, it has rhyme and reason behind that nomenclature, if you've ever wondered about it. The numbers mean the year of release, and the C means cloud, I means internet, and G meant grid for the past versions of products. This product will have 2 flavors. It'll be a cloud and an on-prem. Cloud's expected to be released before the end of the year. Safe harbor applies from Oracle's in Oracle statements. Then the on-prem is planned release of 2020, and I'm sure it will take, it'll be over past the first of the year before we see that. Pricing is the good news. It's expected to go down. You can still use universal credits. So what are some of the feature benefits of Essbase 19c Cloud, especially over today's Essbase On-prem, it was completely rewritten for the cloud, giving significant performance improvements over on-prem with a enhanced and hardened hybrid engine with this release. The only functional difference between OAC Essbase 12c and 19c is the hardening of the hybrid code. Oracle spent much time making deeper dependency analyses, which frees memory constraints that previously would arise. So a lot of that's been addressed, and it's a much more solid hybrid engine now. It introduces the concept of sandboxing and scenario management, which is basically lightweight scenario management with workflow. Sandboxing has a built-in approval process, so you can save your cubes and sandboxes for testing and moving to production later. Scenario management allows you to create workflows and create ownership. So deeper feature integration with SmartView and Excel. Oracle continues to invest in SmartView and make some really cool changes and feature adds for that coming up. Cube Designer is an Excel product add-in that allows you to go from table to cube in a matter of seconds. Support for Google Sheets is going to be added, and support for the web UI. Read SmartView for Mac. Yay! There will be greatly enhanced data connectivity through something called data source plus connections. It's a new construct to abstract data sources for rules, files, drill through and partitions, just about any data and cloud application. Previously, drill through, partitions, security filters, build rules all had some unique way of hooking into external sources. Drill through required Studio and some schema. Rules files are binary, not easy to edit. Security files required custom API programs, and partition to relational databases just wasn't possible. And partition to other Essbase had its own file or way of capturing connection information. It was basically a big kludge at best. So now with this connection and data sources, you can have all that functionality native to the platform. This enables things like multi-cell drill through. You can drill through to single cell or range of cells. It doesn't have to be contiguous or even at the same level. It enables things like efficient filters using data source lookup, the new rule editor, and federated partitions. All except the new rule editor have a technical gallery template that you can download from the cloud with a README that you can reference using Cube Designer and Excel. So doing this, you can download these templates through Excel, learn how to use new features, stand up a cube that maybe even has some it's business oriented or product oriented, and give you some ideas of how to efficiently build a cube in that way, but also learn the new features. If you build the template using import from the Essbase Jet UI, you don't get the README for what to do, so you'd have to use the new Cube Designer feature in Excel to learn a lot of these new features. The other feature benefits here, I want to mention this. There's an expanded toolbox for working with the applications. You can still use Maxell. There's a CLI command line interface that allows you to work with files and move them back and forth to the cloud. There's the DBX workbooks, which is an Excel feature for modifying or building Essbase applications, also using Cube Designer. The REST API is a new add, and the JAPI and CAP API interfaces are still there. Future, this is again a safe harbor, but this was talked about at Kscope with some cool stuff. Idle cube detection means idle time backups. There's mirroring. There's a lot of heavy processing that needs to go on with either a dimension builder or a loader or stuff that can be done in the background on a mirrored cube, and then when it's finished with a 2 to 3 second swap over, it will swap over to the mirrored cube. There's application level Essbase configuration now with as a new feature. Some of the deprecated features that aren't going to be supported in Essbase 19c, EAS goes away. I still love the admin tool, by the way. You have to use the new Jet UI instead, or the DBX workbooks. Essbase Studio is gone. You'll use the new Jet UI to do that, and plus the connections and data sources feature. Non-Unicode applications go away. Everything is Unicode. Currency conversion and variant attributes also go away, although I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I understand that migration of if it has variant attributes in your application will be preserved somehow. I got to get more details and information about that. Let's go into the top 9 reasons to move Essbase to the cloud, not to get too Dave Letterman on you. But the first one is maybe you've been eyeing an upgrade for Essbase on-premises deployment. And so why not move to the cloud as well while you're at it? Completing an on-premises Essbase upgrade, however, is no easy feat. So you're going to need a team of infrastructure experts with specialized skills, a sizable timeline, and a budget, and a strong collaboration effort between all parties involved. And if you've been an on-premise Essbase customer, this is no new drill. You know how this goes. And businesses are usually able to reduce their costs, though, for upgrading and post-upgrade maintenance by moving to the cloud. When you use a platform as a service cloud software like Essbase 19c, the cloud provider, in this case Oracle, is responsible for operating system upgrades, your infrastructure, your maintenance, which ensures the application runs on stable and cutting-edge hardware. So a cloud migration also allows you to move from a capital IT expense to operating IT expense. When you run software on premises, you need to purchase the licenses and infrastructure yourself, as well as handling and support or maintenance. But on the cloud, when it runs on an operating expenses model, then you pay a monthly or annual fee in order to retain access to the cloud services. Many businesses find this latter option more convenient, especially those without any large amount of capital to invest up front, or if you're running through your CapEx and you're coming up to an end in that, you might consider switching to an OpEx approach. Top reason number 2, you want to focus on what you do best. So unless you're already in the IT business, fixing technical problems and issues isn't your primary objective as a company. Still, you might think that this is a necessary evil in order to get the financial insights you need to exist. The cloud massively reduces your IP support requirements and footprints so that you can get back to what you do best. Moving to the cloud will also reduce the cost and effort you need to invest to deploy, manage, and maintain your analytics solution. In other words, you don't have to have a team of infrastructure experts tasked with maintaining the servers, the operating systems, hardware, and the networking. When you're in the cloud, all these activities are handled by Oracle, freeing you from your IT obligations. This also means you don't have to worry about whether you can keep up to date with all your software and hardware during your annual budget cycle. Oracle is entirely responsible for the hardware, and you remain in control of updates to the application software during a planned upgrade period. Top reason number 3, it's faster. The requirements to run enterprise analytics workloads are getting higher and higher every year. Investing in and maintaining the cutting edge hardware that you need to power today's business intelligence, reporting, and analytics is quite an expensive endeavor. Migrating to Oracle's new Essbase 19c cloud platform will lower your total cost of ownership by removing hardware from the cost equation. Oracle has powerful new hardware at its fingertips that spins up quickly, scales across the enterprise, and adjusts according to business changes and growth. You can also get to the newer hardware faster than you traditionally would. I've seen at most corporations, it's a very lengthy process to get approved for new hardware and actually get that put into place. I've seen that take as much as 18 months from inception to getting new hardware up, and by that time the hardware is not it's not as blindingly fast as you thought it was going to be by the time you get it implemented. So you're going to also have access to new functionality by going to the cloud. If you've been paying attention to recent going-ons, it's very clear that Oracle is a cloud-first company. It operates more than 600 SaaS applications, and it's pretty clear that they're going to move all their products from on-premises into the cloud. This is a strategic direction that has an important implication. All new features for Oracle products will be first rolled out in the cloud before they reach the on-premise versions of the same software. As it stands now, Oracle's development of the latest and greatest new features is geared toward the cloud, and that same function only arrives to on-premises version as time permits, which could be up to 24 months. Meanwhile, the equivalent cloud software is updated roughly every 2 to 3 months, with new features and bug fixes. And Oracle has a stated direction of trying to achieve monthly, even monthly upgrades. So it's not hard to understand why Oracle might prefer developing new features for the cloud, because if you think about it, they're running their own cloud software on their own servers. They have greater control over the operating environment and can roll out updates more quickly because there are less permutations of what they would have to test and verify and validate for all the possible on-premise configurations that we come up with in the business. So we're seeing that things are going to come out faster just naturally because Oracle has more control over the environment. And also, let's talk about SmartView, because this is sometimes overlooked. That's the Microsoft interface designed to use with a lot of Oracle's enterprise performance management products, such as Essbase, if you're not familiar with it. It provides advanced analytics as well as additional visualizations and reporting capabilities. The good news is that for SmartView fans is that Oracle continues to invest in it, and there are some really exciting new functionality features coming in as it pertains to Essbase 19c and to EPM and other products. So what this means is that businesses that move to the cloud with Essbase are going to be able to continue using SmartView because you probably have a lot of time and effort invested in using SmartView for your retrievals, for your planning, for your standardized reporting. So you're going to be able to do that in the way you're most familiar with by going to the cloud in the same like fashion that you were doing on-prem. So it makes for a more seamless cloud transition, and every bit helps in that area. Number 6, you want more flexibility during licensing negotiations. The pricing for Essbase 19c has yet to be seen. I've heard everything from it's going to cost less to actually somebody told me a couple of weeks ago they thought it was going to be free. I don't really see that. But Oracle wants to incentivize customers to move to the cloud. So new cloud users might have some leverage during negotiations for licensing. And cloud migrations are particularly affordable in the first place for small and medium-sized organizations. So you can save money by licensing only for the number of users that you need, which kind of segues into this. You need a system that's scalable up and down when you go to the cloud. So when you run software on premises, the hardware that needs to run on needs to be capable of meeting the maximum capacity that the software will require, right? So this means you may need to purchase hardware that's far more powerful than you need for most use cases, but you need to plan for expected future growth, or maybe just to accommodate the rare occasion when you do need that extra power. The cloud totally flips this concept on its head. You start with the appropriate resources for your current needs, and then you can increase those or decrease those resources as time goes by and your business grows. So you can also scale your resource usage up and down during times of peak demand, which is impossible with on-premise. So pretty compelling reason to go to the cloud in that one all alone. And number 8, some clients have already implemented Oracle EPM with software such as Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service, but has limited reporting capabilities, as do some of the other products that talk to Essbase. So thanks to the flexibility of Essbase Cloud, it can be used as a presentation reporting layer for Oracle EPM, which augments that investment that you've already made and gives you better and more flexible reporting capabilities. And then number 9, not the least, but Essbase in the cloud should be very similar to what you're used to on Essbase on-premises. This is a highly underrated advantage that's not always obvious when you're considering a cloud migration, which is the current team capabilities and any training or retraining that might be necessary. With Essbase practically being the same as it is on-prem, then this allows you to keep using the same people with the same Essbase expertise and familiarity with functionality they use every day, like SmartView, calculation scripting, and Essbase Cube technology. So what about staying on-premise? Probably asking, couldn't that also work? Well, yes, is the short answer, but weigh the cost of CapEx, additional IT support, cost of maintaining your servers, your OS patching, etc., against going serverless with a platform as a service cloud. Both Essbase 19c Cloud and On-prem are going to be customer managed. I can't stress that enough. This is a big change from OAC Essbase now, and people that are on-prem are going, well, of course you would want that. That wasn't the case recently. So this is, I think a lot of people are applauding this is going back to customer managed. Initially, Essbase 19c on-prem will only be available with Oracle Linux 7.x. We do understand that most of the community are Windows servers, so that will be addressed in 2020 to come out with the next version. Initially, the supported Oracle database needed for the RCU will have to be 12.1c, 12.2c, and 18c. And integration with directory services for security will be through IDCS, although you could, for dev and other proof of concept systems, you could also use just WebLogic. So let's talk about how you're going to go to the cloud then, if you're not going to stay on-prem. Maybe in the form of questions you might already be asking in your head right now, because there's actually a lot of versions of Essbase out there. You might be saying, but I already have Essbase in the cloud with PBCS. Yes, but even with the new EPM 11.2 release that's coming out, you'll still only have Essbase 11.124 effectively. But do weigh the advantages presented by freeform planning, which is a new feature that's part of the EPM Enterprise Cloud. It's a pretty cool feature added for EPM. You can build open definition models quickly, no required dimensions. You can import Essbase OTLs. It can be hybrid BSO or ASO. You can access through web or smart view, and can be large scale models, even like large number of dimensions, large number of members. This also does give you some additional UI options using EPM over standalone Essbase, when you think about it. So you can have data forms, approvals, planning security, editable dashboards. It comes with narrative reporting and does have limited OAC, BI, and data visualization. Works with some limitations in real life, but you do have those benefits of Essbase that's embedded with PBCS and will be embedded with the EPM Cloud Enterprise. And since it's software as a service, it's all Oracle managed with backups and patches being done for you. So that's there's a lot of advantages to consider there. On the roadmap, Safe Harbor again also applies for Essbase with EPM Cloud. I've heard there's import Essbase LCM being worked on. You can build models from Excel using the DBX workbook. There'll be multi-cube abilities and an EPM Cloud platform full features. What if you already have Essbase 12c? Wouldn't I just keep using that as part of my BIF system on premise? But yeah, but you still only have Essbase 12c. And your BIF's ultimate is going to become OAS without Essbase. But you can migrate to 19c on-premise when it's released, or you could use this opportunity to migrate both your OBIE and Essbase to the cloud by going to OAC now. And there's actually some advantages to doing that. We'll talk about that in a moment. So I have OAC Essbase. Will that be upgraded? No, your OAC Essbase is now essentially end of life and is frozen at Essbase 12c. So Essbase 19c is meant to be native Essbase only. So what does that mean? It's going to be a platform as a service offering. It's customer managed and has an unlimited number of cubes, limited only by OCPUs. Has all the same features that you're used to: ASO, hybrid only, BSO, data loads are through rules files, Essbase connections, and data sync. If you're familiar with it, there's a third-party product called OneCloud that does a great job of doing data loads and integration. There's the ability to configure access to on-premise data sources. Your scripting is done in a very, very similar fashion as that you're used to. Since it's customer managed, your backups and patches are are under your control, and you have SSH access and options to customize your configuration. So what does moving to the cloud look like? How and when you move depends, and don't we all just hate that answer? But you have to consider what's the path you should choose, and when should you do it. So Essbase 19c is going to be available through OCI's marketplace. It'll be deployed as a stack. It's a customized stack or stacks of OCI resources configured. If you know anything about OAC Essbase today, with what was called autonomous until very recently, it was a very simple process to instantiate an OAC Essbase system. You basically answered a few questions on a single web page and clicked on a do it button, and Bob's your uncle, you have an Essbase system in the cloud. With Essbase 19c back to customer managed, there's a lot more configuration to be done. It's a little bit more complicated. So what would that stack look like? You have an OCI compute node, and object storage bucket, and a database instance, a load balancer to install and configure, and all of these things are minimum required for that. But since it's in the OCI marketplace and it's being distributed and purchasable as a stack, all these things are somewhat configured and ready to work with each other by standing up the stack. So some of the benefits, though, of getting 19c through the OCI marketplace, it eases the deployment of Essbase, because you have all the benefits of the OCI cloud architecture. You can leverage the existing OCI investments. Since it is customer managed, you're gonna have control over all your patching and upgrade, and even have the options to customize your configuration. You'll have the SSH access. And there's an enhanced Essbase functionality over 11G and 12C with the new features, data sources and connections, the scenario management, queue designer, hybrid mode, hot backup that's coming, as we talked about earlier. And you can use all the existing cloud migration utilities and leverage your existing on-prem artifacts as you migrate. Put up a couple of screens here so you can sort of see the comparison to existing offerings. Thank you to Oracle for providing some of this information here. So you have the OCI customer managed and OCI what was called autonomous, but it's Oracle managed in the first two columns. And then what's planned for Essbase 19c via the marketplace. And you can see some of the differences here about the scalable. Jumps out at me in particular, where initially it's going to require a manual migration process. The support is planned for scalable. I don't know what version or release that's going to be, but initially there will have to be a manual process for doing the scale up and scale down. Backup and restoring is done by customers, and the SSH access is available. Where they could not get the private IP address before, you can get that now. And you can see the rest of this here. So increasing the data volume size is another thing that they're working on supporting, so that it doesn't require Oracle's assistance or required to stand up an entirely new instance and then migrate from your existing instance to a new one. So they're working on that. So some of the scenarios that you might be running through to implement or migrate Essbase 19c, possibly you're net new to Essbase. What would you do? You could wait and implement 19c cloud or on-prem when it comes out, or you could buy an OAC contract now and migrate to 19c cloud or on-prem later. There's actually an advantage to that. It'd be the same as net new or existing Essbase 12c cloud. Although OAC Essbase is effectively in maintenance mode, support will continue, including patching for life of your existing contract, and then you must migrate to Essbase 19c. However, this is interesting. I was talking to Oracle Product Management about this. If you wanted a runway of time on OAC in order to plan your 19c migration and do it on your own timeline, you would want to buy or extend an OAC contract now. If you have OBIE and you're planning on someday getting that into the cloud, and you also have Essbase, this might be the perfect time and opportunity to go ahead and purchase an OAC contract with Essbase. They will support your Essbase in the cloud until your contract runs out, and then you can migrate to Essbase 19c. You can do it earlier, so you create your own timeline for when you want to go to Essbase 19c, but get into the cloud now. The reason I say this is a good opportunity and a limited time opportunity is that the OAC SKU will cease to exist when 19c SKU becomes available. So once 19c is officially released, you will no longer be able to purchase the OAC Essbase, and your only option will be to go immediately to Essbase 19c in the cloud. So an interesting opportunity there, and we don't really still have a date for the 19c release, although it's just still known as imminent. So what if you're an existing on-prem Essbase customer? Your 11G is supported through 2021. You can migrate to Essbase 19c on-prem when it comes out and stay on-prem. It's an out-of-place installation or migration. It uses a standalone installer, and you use LCM migration utilities to move 11G or 12C to 19C. So these are things you're probably already familiar with how to use LCM. Or if you're an existing on-prem Essbase customer, you could just move to the cloud now by buying OAC Essbase and migrating to 19c cloud later, like we just discussed. So what if I'm an existing BIFS Foundation Suite customer? Your OBIE in BIFS becomes Oracle Analytics Services, OAS. This is coming soon. And then your Essbase 12c migrates to Essbase 19c on-prem. I haven't been able to get any information about the licensing implications of that. I actually asked Oracle, and they don't have an answer to that yet. I'm still digging around trying to find out just what exactly happens if I have BIFs and and suddenly the proud owner of OAS, and what do I do about my Essbase 12c that I had? So existing EPM installs, your 11.1.2 Essbase becomes 11.2 Essbase with the release of EPM 11.2, and EPM apps continue to use Essbase 11G. There is a to be determined future date. It's again not been really released by Oracle as official, but we may see EPM Cloud with 19c Essbase. Same thing with Fusion's Essbase 11G, which is embedded. This may also become Fusion with 19c Essbase. So safe harbor applies here. This is just things that we've heard are possibly in the works and may happen. So a case study, just to talk about real quick, about an insurance company that we worked with. They were running Oracle software on premise, spending more than $200,000 per month in maintenance fees. They're pretty cautious with upgrades. Took lots of justification to change hardware, to change upgrades, to do anything with the software. Downtime was very, very difficult to arrange. So eventually their version was just substantially out of date because of the cautious approach at making changes. So they found themselves faced with two options: upgrade to the latest Essbase on-prem, or to migrate to the cloud. So they ultimately elected to migrate to the cloud. There was a significant expense of on-premise upgrade, so it wasn't really worth it to go to the on-premise upgrade. They were going to continue to pay out a lot of dollars for maintenance to continue that. So we migrated more than 24 Essbase applications across 3 different environments, Dev, UAT, and Prod, and did the migration to cloud complete in 3 months. So the client determined that the migration was quick to implement, and free of an expensive hardware investment, which was really to their advantage. Our leading services in Essbase are to upgrade and do cloud migration roadmaps. We'll do upgrades to 19c. We'll migrate to Essbase 19c. We do 24/7 managed services. So the upside of Essbase 19c being customer managed is that you're in complete control. You're responsible for all the patching, the upgrades, the backups. But perhaps the autonomous OAC Essbase was sounding a little bit of attractive to you, where Oracle is doing all the backups and all of the maintenance and the patching and the upgrades, and you don't really want to enter into that again. So DataVail provides a service to manage that for you, where we'll pick up what Oracle was doing in the Oracle managed part of your system, and so you can go back to being worry-free about backups and upgrades again. We do health checks and assessments. We're a platinum partner with Oracle. So in conclusion, you probably still want to use a good implementation partner, no matter which path you choose, whether it's to stay on-prem and go to 19c on-prem, or to migrate from 11g or 12c from on-prem to Essbase 19c cloud, or even just to go from OAC Essbase to 19c cloud. Standing up the 19c cloud is going to be a lot more complicated than it was to do the OAC Essbase, and having a strong implementation partner would be to your benefit here. We have that kind of expertise and strong migration experience. So talk to us about how we can help you with your Essbase cloud implementation, just as a quick commercial there. We'd like to see you at Open World. We're in booth 606. You can come to our booth and get a chance to win t-shirts. Our DataVail game, yes, we have our very own custom version of Monopoly. So come take a chance, roll the dice, see if you can win a DataVail game and be the envy of your DBAs. And then we also hope to see you in Boston next year at Kscope. So I'll leave this here. I think Karen, we're going to open this up to questions, and if there's anything that you don't want to ask right now or ask later, you can always email me.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. Also, Kurt, did you want to show the slide with the link on it for the evaluations?
I can do that.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure there are some people who joined late who might not have seen it before.
Oh yeah, they don't want to miss out on that. Just one second, I'll bring that up.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll wait for you to do that before I ask you any questions.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, awesome. Okay, so the first question is, how does this affect clients who are already on EPBCS?
Well, that would be the same as PBCS, right? So you have Essbase with that system there. It's going to continue to be 11.124. I think Oracle may call that 11.2 Essbase. I think internally, it's probably even referred to as 11.125. But essentially, it's going to be it's still going to be the same 11G Essbase that you have with EPBCS now. So when you go to EPM Cloud Enterprise, that's the version of Essbase you'll have for now.
Okay, next question. Has there been any clarification on the Azure/Oracle partnership? We are a large Azure shop and would prefer to deploy 19c in Azure rather than OCI.
That's a question I'll have to ask someone to email me about, and I can answer in more depth then.
Okay. Next question is, we have Essbase On-prem 11x with FDMEE pushing data from ERP. With 19c, can FDMEE continue to stay on-prem while Essbase moves to cloud, like a hybrid? Or FDMEE also has to be in cloud?
That's an interesting question. I don't think I know the answer to that off the very top of my head. I'll take a note of that too, and we can get back to that person asking the question.
Okay, great. I will send you these questions after the webinar's completed.
Sorry, I just want to be very accurate about it.
Right. So that is all we have for questions right now. If anybody wants to send one in, do it right now, and we'll give it just a minute.
And be sure to write down this link.
Yes, and don't forget the link to win your headphones. Okay, so I don't see anything else coming in. It looks like you must have covered everything.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you very much, Kurt, for presenting, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.